What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Dead Island 2 gameplay, and today I'm going to have my review on the game itself that's recently released. Now this comes from a fan of the original one. I love the first Dead Island, and I was hoping this one could be good, and I was actually pleasantly surprised that not only do I think it's good, I actually think it's superior to the original Dead Island, and coming from a game that had a long time in developmental hell, that is quite the impressive feat. So sit back, relax as I go through what I liked about Dead Island 2, the game, and how I think it's definitely superior to the original one in a lot of ways. First off, if you are new to Dead Island, basically it's a simple concept to understand. You're thrown in a zombie-filled apocalypse world, and you're basically trying to survive. You can wander around and use whatever weapons you can find, scavenge for materials, health items. You have multiple moves and abilities you can do. You have a very extensive skill tree, which I will say right now, I definitely love the skill tree. Let's get right into that first. Is the original Dead Island basically had a simple skill tree where you spec your points as you level up to what you want, and you have a choice of which one abilities you want to upgrade and add to your collection. And basically, if you didn't like it, you had to respec your points again, and etc., etc. In this one, you basically can swap the skills once you find them out in the world, or whatever story moments activate them, and you can swap them wherever you are. So if you like one thing, like for instance, dodging, which I prefer dodging over blocking. If you want to dodge, you can do that. If you want to swap the blocking, it's do that immediately right from your own menu screen. So that gives you a lot of options to switch up, and a lot of builds can be created from that. So that's definitely a big improvement over the first one. In terms of the world, I really do love the world a lot more. One of the biggest reasons why I enjoyed Dead Island compared to its counterpart in Dying Light is I always felt like the world was so much more exciting to be in. Like the deserted island from the first one, well, maybe not deserted, but basically deserted of most life and nothing but zombies. Here you're in LA, or LA as they call it, and I just love the environments, whether in Beverly Hills or on the pier on the beach or in the sewers or even on Hollywood Boulevard. Everything just looks really cool and great in person. But let's get into the part that most people play these games for, is just the abilities to hack and slash your zombies and stuff. And once again, it looks so good to dismember zombies, whether you're taking off their limbs, their heads, you're drop kicking them into street signs, and you definitely have a wide variety of weapons to do that, whether it's electric machetes like right here, or you got electrical claws, or maybe you got a powered sledgehammer, or whatever it may be. You have so much variety, and I'm happy to say that yes, you can repair your weapons, which was a big problem for me in Dying Light 2. Another thing that I like is you also have this simple Dead Island humor. One big thing, and I don't want to turn this into a, what I like this more in Dying Light, because it's trying to compare it to Dead Island, but one of the reasons why Dying Light just never seemed to resonate with me as like Dead Island is just I feel like Dying Light takes itself way too serious, where Dead Island really strikes a good core of having some humor, some crazy characters, ones you can follow, but also having, you have your serious moments or two, but you never lose sight of it being a fun open world game that, hey, it's silly, it's dumb, but it's dumb fun. It's one I can get behind and not take it so over convoluted too serious. You also have different enemy variety types. A lot of them are returning from the first Dead Island, but you also have some new unique ones that are pretty cool. You have a lot of variants of the same ones, which I like too, which give you a whole sense of, hey, if you're that person who wants to use one weapon, you might want to switch it up, because as I said before, some enemies have some immunities which can block out a lot of your elements. I like to lose electricity a lot. It's probably one of my personal favorites. But let's just say you come across an enemy that is openly electricity, well, then you might be in a little trouble, as they're just going to be immune to it. So you got to swap out either your weapons or maybe do more of a melee type thing or drop kick them. The point is, you have lots of options. Not just your enemies have lots of options and variants. You also have lots of options, so you can always switch it up. And you're going to have to switch it up, because when you have a whole bunch of them coming at you in different versions of them, it's definitely going to keep you on your toes, but it's a lot of fun. It can definitely lead to a lot of exciting encounters, and it looks great to play. One thing I've heard from a lot of people is they don't like the size of the game, in terms of they think it's too short, but I actually disagree. I think it's a perfect size, because I don't want a game just to be large just for the sake of being large, where all it is just, you wandering around an insanely large map just to find things that aren't really the most exciting things in the world to do. So I like the fact that it's more smaller segments, but I feel like the segments look so much better overall, and they put a lot much more detail in things that are a lot cooler, not just having a wide open world. Because as I said, I like the beach area the most. It's my personal favorite area, but there's a lot of good areas in this game, and I think this game does a really good job of showing that. So bigger doesn't necessarily mean better. Now, as I'm making this review, one other thing to point out is obviously you can play as different characters, and I'll be the first one. I have not played as them all. I've played as 2 so far. Amy is the one I started out with, and is the one I have all of the whole game completed and done with the most. But overall, I can definitely see a lot of builds, a lot of fun with regardless of which character you pick. You get a lot of preferences at the beginning of personal stats, like one character, I picked her because normally I'm usually the big brute. In the original Dead Island, I played as Sam Beeves. The only character I played as in the original one, so I never got to play as the other characters. I just stuck with Sam Beeves. Maybe it was a song, I don't know. But with Amy, I decided to do something different. Just play with a character that was more faster, more accelerant, more stamina, just always moving and stuff. And I will say, it's a lot of fun. But regardless of who you pick, you can definitely have a lot of fun. I'm more of a dodge person than a block, so it's just something personally I like to do. But as I said, with combat, you have a lot of variety. You can do so many things. You have your throwables, you have your weapons, you have the elements, you have the environment. It flows really good, especially when you're in a rhythm. And it just feels so satisfying, especially when you get on a roll, especially when you get a bunch of them like shocked or set on fire, or maybe the caustic assets getting them, or maybe you have a mutilator mod. With so many options with the mods you can put on weapons as well as the weapons themselves, I can see so many different playthroughs, and that's what I said about not being as long being better, because it's now prompting me to actually play more than one character, because it's not just this openly long game where it takes so long to get through stuff. It's shorter, but it feels a lot better, more satisfying, if that makes any sense. And I just feel like that's a better thing than just making something so big and dense compared to more like smaller, but the areas mean so much more. So it's something that I appreciate a lot, and something that I feel like it's good. And by the way, this movie set area is definitely awesome. I definitely love that. It goes with the whole theme of Dead Island, as well as being fun but not overly serious and just there to be there. And as I said, you got so many different varieties of enemies and so many different NPCs that you deal with that really put a smile on your face. And I think that's the biggest thing that makes me play through this game a lot more, is just the fact that you're having fun and you're enjoying the world you're in. You're not bored in it. There's been other zombie type games where they're fun to play, but it's just like the world itself I never cared too much of being in. It's like I play through it at one time and that's it. Here I've actually been through it twice already, and I've had a lot of fun. I've had a blast going through it. So that's this game's credit. I really enjoy it, and I wish more people would pay notice to it and pick it up more, because it's definitely a lot of fun and something I've really enjoyed. But that's not the biggest improvement I think I've had the most with this game. And this one kind of surprised me because it's the least important thing to me personally. And that was the whole story with this game is, it's nothing special. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm sitting there thinking, oh, it's a grade A story. At the end of the day, you're just trying to survive a zombie apocalypse. But I will give them a little credit. They put a little interest in the story for me personally, where, I won't spoil anything if you haven't played it, but it's not just simply, hey, you got to solve a zombie apocalypse, there's a cure, maybe it exists, maybe it's not. They had a new dynamic with how this whole thing was created and how you encounter certain people, and it wasn't something I was expecting. I'm actually extremely interested in what they do with it, and seeing how this game ended, I don't know if that's something that's going to be addressed in the season pass, or if that's something for Dead Island 3 if they make it. But considering the developmental cycle of this game being about a decade long and going through multiple teams and seeing how it turned out, I gotta say, with seeing how so many other games you just have one team and they turn out so terribly on launch, and this game, which a lot of people expected was probably not going to be that great with all the developmental cycles it's been through, to turn out pretty damn solid, I have to say I'm really impressed, and it actually give me more interest to play and see what the future holds. I'm really excited. So Overall, do I recommend Dead Island 2? Yes, I do. It's something you have fun playing by yourself or playing with friends. You have a fun environment, fun world, so many options of combat, and it's fun. You can enjoy stuff. You don't have to take stuff so seriously, and you have a little bit more in a, I guess, a story that's trying to do something a little bit different and try to be a little bit more fun, but interesting and mystique at the same time, which, to be honest, I never really cared about in the first one, but I will give them credit for that. And you have a bunch of characters you can choose from, and even though I haven't played them all, I think a lot of them would probably be fun regardless. But that is going to be it, and that is my opinion on Dead Island 2, and that's my review. I want to hear your guys' opinions. Have you guys played this game? Did you play the original one? Do you think this is superior to the original one? What's your favorite aspect of this one? Or do you think there's something you wish you could have done more? Let me know down in the comment section down below. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope I can see you guys back in the next one. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you all later. Peace.